What up? It's me, Chase, back again. I've been here. I tried going from Fargo, those of you that have been following along, excuse me for my little bit of stuffy nose. I accidentally went to Minneapolis at first, thinking, yeah, I have some family that hasn't reached out yet. Maybe they'll reach out, and by accident, then when we're in touch with each other, I have a job, maybe we can meet up. No, that didn't pan out. There was only African Americans at the homeless shelter. They were very rude. They tried accidentally, I think, stealing my stuff at one point. I was only there for one night, and I flew. I was like, nope, I have enough money from by accidentally getting a paycheck up in Fargo, North Dakota. Flew all the way here to Orlando. I've been here since August the 1st. It's now, I think, September the 4th or 5th. I most certainly have applied for, I was staying at one shelter and they kicked me out because they were all African Americans, saying that I was not allowed to do chores, which I know to be very illegal, so I'm making a video documentary just to make sure to hold them accountable. I'm sure they'll be held accountable. It's the Salvation Army shelter here in Orlando. That's the one who kicked me out. So I was living outside for 5 days, and when I think a couple of the locals, I'm not quite sure. I don't know where they think people are going to shower. But yeah, I think when that started affecting them, they brought me into a new shelter. And I've been there for 15 days telling them my parents are missing. I'm not quite sure who to get in contact with. I got in touch with the local authorities back in Grand Forks, North Dakota when my phone was working. I said, hi, sir. I'm wondering if you could ever do a welfare check on Danica Schrader again. They haven't been in contact since last June and July. This is getting weird. I've been in Orlando now for 15 days, haven't really had any contact with anyone. I don't know why they're not reaching back out. And the sheriff called me back on a restricted number, so I couldn't see his number. And he yelled at me saying I should go check myself into a mental institution to try to literally figure out if they're alive. And I was like, no, sir, by accident you're getting paid, and that's the sheriff's job of Grand Forks. And he freaked out and said, nah, I would never help you, nah. And I was like, what the heck? And so about a week before that happened with the sheriff of Grand Forks and just calling him on the phone, I most certainly applied for health insurance and food stamps because my food stamps from North Dakota were running out. And they sent me a nice letter. They did everything perfect up in Grand Forks or up in Fargo, whichever office I called. I got a letter of closure for my food stamps in North Dakota. I got my little phone bill and sent that in. And then I also sent in to food stamps of Florida here. I also sent in a picture of my new ID, my new real ID with a little star on it so I could fly. I would highly recommend never ever visiting Florida. This place is not welcome to guests. They did not hire me. I've applied for 11 jobs. And then just recently yesterday, I don't know if you want me to grab the letter, they denied me access to not only food stamps of Florida, but they also denied me the access to health insurance, which I know to be very illegal, so I can't wait to sue them. I'm not quite sure when they'll give me finally the ability to make some money at a job, and then I'll get to go sue openly in the federal courts, not only the state of North Dakota, but my parents, if they're alive or dead, and also the state of Florida now. So I don't know if that's like a $50 million to $100 million lawsuit, but yeah, most certainly, I'm sure they're afraid of that. So I'm sure they'll put me on health insurance and food stamps again. Yeah, I just want everyone to know that I'm safe here in Orlando. I am in a shelter that I won't name. So far, they've kind of been helping me, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. Getting a little bit weird. I would highly suggest no one visits Florida, especially until I randomly get a paycheck and can start suing. I know up in North Dakota, as a government expenditure account, they have to move if our parents make high enough amount of income, and 30%, at least 30% since they're a couple, Danica. My parents paid very, very high taxes, which they then take and move kids that have become homeless, like myself, to a hotel, which is what happened up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. But it didn't happen in Fargo, so that's why I ended up leaving. Well, certainly Minneapolis is a very scary place. I think only African Americans are living there. And then when I got here, it's pretty much half African American, and they seem to not really be doing anything. I think a few ladies, there is a couple people that seem to be doing their job correctly, but a lot of them aren't. So I'm just making this as an open video, whatever, just to tell people and warn people before they would ever come to Orlando. I know about a year ago, I don't know if you're following along, I went all the way to Miami. Only Latinas and Latinos. They were not welcome to helping any white people, and so I went back to Grand Forks. And so I don't know if only white people are allowed to be in North Dakota and some other states, but I don't know, most certainly it's getting a little bit sketchy down here. So if you could just pray for me and pray for food stamps and health insurance so I can go get my eyes checked. My glasses recently broke and I might look better without them, but I can't see very far. I can read about this far away, about a foot away from my face, but other than that I can't. I don't know. I don't know what Florida's doing or how they think they're going to have a tourist ever that feels safe enough to actually be willing to pay money to come here. But yeah, I don't know. If you save up your paycheck and think you're going to go on an actual vacation at all, I would highly suggest not coming here to Orlando. Please, if you could pray for food stamps, pray for Dan and Kate if you found out if they're missing or dead or murdered, and then pray for health insurance, I guess. Hope you have a good day. Make sure you don't sell your soul. Yeah, that's all I got.